o'clock in the morning and I'm going to start making carnitas. Okay, so we're gonna do this real quick and then go back to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and it takes 8 hours for this to cook, so we have to get up early so it'll be ready for lunch. So first we need to wash the meat, and it has the bone in it. You need one with the bone in it, and with a good fat cap. A lot of fat on the bottom is good because that's what makes all the juices come out. So, okay. You're supposed to pat the meat, get all this excess water off. I think I'm dreaming, I'm not really awake. I'm just dreaming about making carnitas. So, okay, salt and pepper. Just gonna have to kind of rub it in all over. Let me mix that up a little bit. I'm really tired, so I'm not very talkative. But it's only like an hour or so before I get up usually and go to work in my office, so I guess it's not that big of a difference. But so all over, back and front, both sides. So before we put the meat in the crock pot, need to mix this. This is olive oil, ground cumin, and oregano. Mix all three of these together. And this is the rub ingredients. It goes on after the salt and pepper. Basically, it gets really messy. Turn it over. Side. I don't miss any pieces. Get all of it on there. Now we're going to put it in the crock pot. I use this instead of the oven because the oven takes about 10 hours. This crock pot, you can turn it on high and it takes about 7 to 8 hours. I put this in here. I cut all of this and prepared it last night, so I wouldn't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and cut onions or jalapeno. So we have 1 jalapeno cut, 4 cloves of garlic, and 1 whole onion. So we just put it in the crock pot. use that spoon. Don't have to worry about mixing it around because it spreads out when it gets hot. So, jalapeno. And then two oranges. We need to squeeze the juice from 2 oranges into this crock pot. And this is the hard part. Squeezing these oranges into this crock pot is very hard. Well, not very hard, but it's a little hard. Okay. So, now we're gonna put the lid on. Let's look inside. In 8 hours, it will be done. I'm just gonna put the lid, and then I'm gonna go back to bed for an hour, and then get up again and go to work. So now we wait, and that's all, at least for now. And then the messy part comes. The carnitas are almost done, probably about 20 more minutes, and now I'm getting ready the cilantro and the onion. This is the part I don't like. I like everything else, but this takes forever, just sitting here picking off these little leaves, but it's so good and it's worth it, so I don't mind. So we're gonna finish this cilantro, and I'm gonna cut this onion up, and then we're gonna slice the limes and get ready to eat. We go through a lot of limes in this house. I think I eat it on almost everything. But you cannot have carnitas without lime. Okay, so the pan needs to be really hot before we put the meat in the pan, because we're going to transfer it from the crock pot to the pan and sear it so we can brown it a little bit on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on high, and while I'm getting the meat out and put it into this pan, the pan will be getting hot. So it's very, very soft. It's like falling apart, which is exactly what we want. That means it's done. It's kind of a big pan. I don't really need one this big, but that's all I have right now, so. Now we need 2 cups of the juice that's left over from the meat. So we're gonna just kind of guess 2 cups, because this is gonna be the juice that we use to sprinkle or to drizzle on top of the meat when it's cooking in the other pan. We need to break up the meat with the fork. Usually use 2 forks, but I have this in my hand, so I'll just use it. Just kind of make it where it's shredded. You're going to do that with all the parts. Okay, now we just put a little bit in the pan at a time, just enough to cover the bottom. But don't like stack it on top of the rest of the meat. Just a little bit of the drizzle, that's the oil. Kind of let it brown on this one side. But not too much, because we don't want it too crispy. We want it to be tender, kind of like that. And that's probably good enough. Don't want to do it too long or it'll burn. And then transfer it to the pan and then do it again for the next. Okay, so this really made a lot of carnitas, a lot of meat. But we invited his sister, my sister-in-law, over today and her kids, and they can help us eat it because it is a lot of food. But I still have to do the tortillas and everything is ready. Yeah, okay.
Hola, saludos a todos. Como vieron, Jessica hizo comida hoy, así que les presento, ella invitó a mi hermana, así que les presento a mi hermana, ella se llama Ángela, y mi sobrino se llama Logan, y mi sobrina se llama May.
Dile, hola,
May.
dile, hola, dile, hola.
Así que hoy nos vamos a divertir comiendo, que Jessica preparó tacos de carnita, así que a disfrutar. Siéntense.
No manches, ¿sabes tipo? Ay, Jessica, ¿qué grabó?
Okay, lunch is over. Almost all the meat was gone, and it surprises me because that was a lot of meat. But I guess everybody was really hungry. I don't know. But carnitas is one of my favorite foods, and I never had it before. I definitely never cooked it because I've never really been much of a cook. But we went and lived in Los Angeles for almost 6 months, and we went downtown to this place, Grand Central Market, and there's a bunch of like restaurants, and there's this one particular place. I'm gonna put a picture up of me eating carnitas, and they were so good, and I was like, there's nothing like this in Arkansas, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it. Of course, I didn't figure out how to make it like they make it, but I think I made it pretty good. So it's enough to satisfy me, and I finally figured it out, and I'm really happy with that. But another thing is I never really cooked much to begin with at all, and until I got married and in the Mexican food, and I was never a very good cook. But strangely enough, I cooked some Mexican foods. Okay, I can do Mexican rice, I can make carnitas, I don't know, I enjoy it, and I also like to eat it more than other kinds of foods, so maybe that has a lot to do with it. So anyway, just please subscribe to our channel, click the little button down there, subscribe, and there's a little bell. If you click that, it'll give you notifications. Like, comment, and share, help spread the word, and if anybody has any recipes they want to share, Mexican recipes in particular, let me know. I might try to make something.